With just one day ahead of the election, I wanted to take a little bit of time to go through my game plan in terms of how to trade the 2024 elections. Now, that is a very broad topic to try and cover in a single video, but I'm going to do my best just to give you some of the areas that I'll be watching most closely and how I think that the presidential election could potentially impact these different areas. In this video, I'll be talking about indices. I'll look at gold as well, maybe some Bitcoin and currencies to see sort of outlook-wise where I think things could fall in the coming days as we lead up to the election and even into the next couple weeks. So I've just pulled up an election betting site, predictit.org, which I've been following for the last several months here. But what we can see is over time, the probabilities of the presidential winner have changed back and forth. At one point, it was very favored for Harris, and then Trump took back, and then now here right into the election, my goodness, it is pretty much neck and neck, at least according to the odds. Now, different sources are going to give you different answers, but my point is it's interesting because in past elections, it's been very favored, but this time around, we've got kind of an interesting scenario. Now, for you as a trader, if leave politics at the door for a second, what does this mean? Well, it probably means that there's going to be some pretty violent movements because when things are pretty uncertain, like they are here, where there's a good case to be made that we could see either one of these presidents or candidates become the president, what happens there is when that is realized, there could be some sort of intense movements one way or the other. But with this 90-day chart showing us where we are now, you can see we very much closed in on the day before with just basically neck and neck odds. And one market that I've discussed a lot in this topic is gold, which has been on the up and up for most of this year. There's been no shortage of different things, different catalysts to make gold go up if you think about it, right? We've had the Ukraine and Russia war going on. We've had what's happening in the Middle East, which is certainly causing a lot of uncertainty. You have, of course, the elections, not just in the US, but also in the UK and many other places. So there's just a lot of stuff brewing under the surface, it seems, in the global financial markets. And the winner in all of this has been gold, as people buy gold typically when they're uncertain of what's going on in the world, right? When people want to have some sense of security, they know what gold is. Gold is a time and tested, metal that stores value. So gold, maybe unsurprisingly with everything we've seen this year, is actually up more than the stock market. If we take just a look at the start of the year until now, we're up 33% or so on gold. Now, I want to discuss this, though, because the bigger question for today's purpose is not what has it done in the past, but what is it likely to do going forward? Well, if you get a Trump presidency, again, a second term for Donald Trump, I guess, would it be his first term? Somebody fact check me on this. I'm not sure if he can run, if he wins this one, right? Can he do 8 years? I'm not sure. Anyways, regardless, the point is this. With gold, going up and up, I actually would make the case that if Donald Trump becomes the president, there's a good chance gold continues to go up. Whether you like him or not, he is very opinionated and he brings, he swings for the fences on whatever he's doing. So people who like him or dislike him, regardless of that, there's a lot of question marks that come with him. Last time he was the president, we had an ongoing war or trade war with China, which caused a lot of uncertainty in the financial markets. His plans for tariffs could be potentially, whether you like them or not, they do have the potential to disrupt the current scenario of trade in the global, situation, international trade, which causes a lot of uncertainties and concerns. And of course, you're, digging right into the incomes of these other places with these tariffs, which could cause some bad blood, some uncertainties. So I think that if Trump becomes the president, it is possible that gold continues to go higher. I think that if you get a Harris victory, however, gold may just sort of go sideways, but I'm not necessarily super bearish in either scenario for gold, because here's the thing. If you just kind of look at beyond just this presidency, there's so many other things that are still a big question mark, like the national debt ballooning up and people getting uncertain about that. I think that goes beyond just the presidency. That being said, I do think that probably would have a more explosive move up if you got a win from Trump, simply because of the question marks that come with the guy. Even if you like him, it's fair to say he speaks his mind, and people get nervous about that. The stock market's pulled back a little bit here, and I do actually think, and I've said this, I think regardless of who wins, once the sort of de-risk move happens, it could equate to a bump in the stock market. I've said this on my live stream here this morning. I discussed basically that I think whether you get Harris or Trump, there's a good chance that the stock market will just like that uncertainty is behind us, right? Once we get some sort of decision, some sort of solid win, one way or the other, which I think by the way might be the most bullish scenario. The most bullish scenario would be a clear winner for the president, and at the same time a split between the legislative branch, Congress, and the president. If there's one blue, one red, the stock market actually loves that, because then there's a lot less chance that huge changes are going to come in. If there's one thing the stock market doesn't like, it's uncertainties / changes that could come that they're not prepared for. If you get a split in the power dynamic, that is typically actually perceived as, and there are studies out there, you could pull this up, a lot of the best stock markets occur during those times, because people know that there's, we know the environment pretty well. When there's massive changes one way or the other, regardless of political affiliation, people just are uncertain about change, and that's very natural to like the human kind of spirit. So regardless of the president, I do really still like the stock market to the long side. If we get pullbacks, I like them. If we get uncertainties during the election period that give bigger dips, I'll be looking to potentially take advantage of those dips myself. By the way, I wanted to take a moment to remind you guys that we are doing our Black Friday sale on the Edge Finder this month. It is currently 40% off. There's a link and promo code down below in the description. And if you have any questions, you can speak directly with a member of our support team if you want to set up a payment plan, if you want to pay with crypto, things like that, or if you want to check out our free course on the Edge Finder, you can direct message our team using the first link in the description, and someone from our support staff will get you set up with a copy for a huge discount, as well as give you answers to any questions you might have. Speaking of the Edge Finder, currently this is kind of our watch list. You can see things are a little bit light, and I'm kind of okay with this, right? When we go into this week with the ginormous election scenario, as well as, by the way, a Fed meeting that happens within the next 48 hours following, there's just a room for me to kind of sit back and say, I'm going to wait until some moves start to form. We get a little bit of a sense of direction, and then maybe I can potentially trade them. Interestingly, oil is a bearish reading on the Edge Finder currently. Euro yen, Euro CAD, Swiss yen, these are some of the bullish readings that we're getting after looking at sentiment scores, technical readings, and economic data scores. Now, if you don't know what that means, or that sounds confusing to you and you're maybe newer to my videos, then no worries. The Edge Finder is a software that we've built that automatically pulls in a ton of market data and ranks and files it sort of like a report card in each category, right? So this is the report card of, how retail sales and CPI numbers and NFP numbers or jobs data is looking. It ranks all of this stuff to generate bullish and bearish ideas. Currently, we can see when we add in the neutral readings, we track a lot of different markets all within the top setups algorithm, but a lot of things are currently printing neutral, which I think is perfectly okay going into this very uncertain week that we've got in front of us. While we're on the topic of the stock market, the put-call ratio also signaled something very interesting. Check out how on Friday, the put-call ratio spiked up. When this happens, what this often is signaling is that investors are uncertain and wanting to buy insurance. Now, if you don't know what a put is basically a bearish bet that you can buy in the options market. So if you think the market could be coming down, or if you just want to hedge your positions, this seems to be what's happening. Seems like this week we've seen a big increase in interest in buying puts to protect portfolios going into this crucial week. And we see this sometimes. And I actually love when I see this, because oftentimes it can give you a nice opportunity to buy some good dips. Now, disclaimer, as always, none of this is financial advice. This is all just my opinion, and I'm just some guy on the internet, and you should probably be really careful if you choose to trade, because most people lose a lot of money trading. So that out of the way, when I see this thing sort of jumping up in sort of its index, I like to take note of that and potentially look for dip buying opportunities. As people get really fearful, sometimes that can create some really great opportunities in the markets that I can scoop up some better entries on risk on items. Now, I use this as a contrarian indicator. It's one of my favorite indicators that I use. The put call ratio, we have it built into the Edge Finder under the sentiment and positioning tab, alongside commitment of traders data, the smart money indicator, retail sentiment, and of course the AAII investor sentiment survey, which I think we should also check this out. You can see actually some dipping in, the stock market sentiment, down only to 39.5% of respondents saying they're feeling bullish, 31%, let's call it, saying they're feeling bearish. This has actually increased over the last few weeks as participants are feeling a little skittish, a little uncertain going into the election. Again, I could be dead wrong about this, but I'm taking all this uncertainty as a potential opportunity to buy some dips on some of my favorite names in the stock market, some indices, commodities if I can get some entries, etc. And here's a quick display of some of my current positions. I've got some contracts on options that I've opened up. I've sold some puts on some names. I also have some ETFs long, like SMH, which is a semiconductors ETF. I have a Bitcoin position that is now almost in the red again, which is a little disappointing. But I've also got QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, up nicely so far. We'll see if that one can continue to make a move. These are some of my current trades. And by the way, if you would like to see every trade that I'm taking, I share all of them inside of our Discord group, where I share entries, exits, analysis, as well as sort of a signal for each trade that I'm taking. I find it really important that if you're going to pay for a service like this, that the people that you're watching or learning from have shown some sort of real live account on a regular basis, which I do my best to show. If you'd like to see a more comprehensive breakdown of all of the trades that I've taken in the last few years, as well as my personal track record, to make sure that this service is not, that it's actually worth the money to join, I'd encourage you to go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, where I have a full video breaking down my last few years of trading performance. And all of the trades that I take, like I said, get shared instead of our Discord VIP group, which is currently 40% off for Black Friday. So do some homework, do some research, see if it's right for you. But if you'd like to trade alongside myself and my team, we'd invite you to join us for that huge Black Friday discount. The promo code information can be found down below in the description. Thanks for watching. If you're looking for a better brokerage, then stick around for a second. I'm going to tell you how you can get some free sign-up perks with great brokerages all around the world. Whether you trade FX or indices, commodities, futures, all of the above, I'm going to show you a really cool way that you can get free sign-up perks with your new account. So if you're interested in switching into a different brokerage, you can get things like deposit bonuses or free stock shares, or you can even get access to some of our products for completely free. All you have to do to find out current perks being offered to new depositors is go to a1trading.com/brokers. That's a1trading.com/brokers. And as you look at that page, you'll see all these different offerings that we've currently locked down for you guys as subscribers, as viewers. Now, of course, we get something out of this. If you choose to use these links, you'll be supporting our page. But in return for the viewers, we've got great sign-up perks available for you guys so that you get some free game just by signing up for a brokerage if you're looking to do so. So check it out on our website. You can find current deals at a1trading.com/brokers. Thanks for watching this video, and on the screen right now, you'll see some other options of other videos we put together that might be helpful to you in your trading career. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.